When we take a look at the election coming up, we know that every election is a direct reflection of the voters' understanding of the Constitution. And so, even though we don't tell people, we don't have to tell people who to vote for, our members and supporters know exactly who in their local election to vote for.
I'm Dr. Duke with The New American, and I'm joined today by the new Chief Executive Officer of the John Birch Society. Well, I'd like to welcome Bill Hahn to the program. And you've been with the Society, the John Birch Society, for 13 years. Why don't you talk a little bit about what brought you to the Society and what ideals over the years, over this long 13-year period, that you focused on with the John Birch Society?
Most certainly. Actually, believe it or not, I answered a Help Wanted ad. I was a book publicist at the time, working for a book publisher. It was my job to get as much publicity as I could for our authors and books without spending any money, which certainly helps in the role that I'm at with JBS. Nonetheless, a lot of travel. I'd like to stay home, with the kids a little more often, the family, and so I ended up looking around and saw the PR manager that John Birch Society was looking for. Went on the website, had no clue really who the John Birch Society was. May have drove past the building once or twice, but went online, looked them up, saw that I pretty much agreed with everything on the site. Thought, hey, this is a great opportunity, and of course, I did my due diligence being in PR for the 12, 13 years that I was at the time, and noticed that they could use a little help in the PR world, right? So I was very happy to interview and actually get the position, under a couple of great folks that are still working here. So had a great time, with the society, getting to know people. Learning more about the society and its as you say, its ideals, its principles, knowing that the fight is in the action, right? We need to actually motivate people out there to get involved and to really make things happen on the local level, as we all know and appreciate that what is one person going to be able to do, kind of the lone voice in the wilderness, right? But when that one lone voice is met with others that are working on the same agenda all the way across the U.S., well, pretty soon that one voice becomes multiplied, and the influence is greatly expanded across the country. And so the little bit that we can do, and even more so, is felt nationwide, and in some instances internationally, because of the agenda that we work on. So I really appreciated the society from a standpoint of helping to expand my role, my understanding of what it is that actually is confronting America, what's holding us back, so to speak, and what's beating us down regarding Americanism.
And, being the public relations director of the John Birch Society is an especially important and I would imagine difficult job given the long-standing, 4 or 5 decade insistence on the progressive left to target the society. I mean, from almost the very outset, the John Birch Society has been smeared and lied about and doxxed and 1,000 other things, and it's still going on today. Give us an update, Bill. Where are we with that now? I mean, to what degree have we begun work on rehabilitating those lies and slanders, and how do you feel now that you're the CEO of the organization about the public image surrounding the society?
Well, certainly, actually, and the interesting thing is when you actually look at the smears and the baggage that the society has been unfairly saddled with over the years, you'll notice that it's just a handful, of these same things that float around: anti-Semitism, racism, so on and so forth. All of these. As you even say, with your classes, you just blow the smoke away, by using the truth, and that's what we've been doing, over the years. But notice that which organizations get targeted. It's those that are successful, those that are actually effective in targeting the agenda of the other side, and so. it's almost a badge of honor, so to speak.
You're known by your
attached.
enemies, right? And
Yes.
the fact that you organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center, that scandalous George Soros stain on American liberty as they are, when they come after you, you know you've probably done something right. Yeah, I see some parallels, honestly. You know, I'm like you. I didn't even know the society existed back when I got involved probably 10 years ago. I never heard of the society. I didn't know what it was, and had driven past here a few times, and you find out what it's all about. So really, in many ways, you and I had a chance to join the society without having been aware of this slur.
Right.
And so now that's a good thing that you're in a position now, I think, that you understand both sides of this.
Right.
So what would you what plans moving forward, now that you are the CEO and not just the publicity director, what would you say are the plans to continue to fight this? What would you have a much better vision than you did 13 years ago, and you also have a new position that gives you a lot more authority. What do you want to do about this in your first couple of years at the helm of the JBS?
Yeah, so what we've been doing is actually we've gotten a team together and actually expanded the leadership team here. To include those that are actually making a big difference out there, for us. And by bringing those folks together, we've tasked them with coming up with some ideas to aggressively move ahead with plans to help to, I guess, educate folks on the what the real truth is regarding the John Birch Society, the agenda, how they can get involved, things of that nature. But of course, with trying to work with the media. And again, there are many outlets out there that will work with us, will give us a fair shake, and that's pretty much all that we ask. If they want to dredge things up from the past, fine. Let's have an honest and open conversation regarding it, because we can definitely go back and take a look to see what we said back then. What is meant, and the ramifications of what had happened.
Yeah, that's the really big problem is that when you look at the history, the written and the oral history of the John Birch Society, as it's amply documented in media and in video, I'm always puzzled by this. I have the same kind of bewilderment when I keep hearing that Donald Trump is a racist, and I start looking for evidence of that.
Right.
And it really, other than that one completely debunked smear where he said at the Charlottesville rally, apparently he was allegedly to have said that there are good people on both sides. They're good redneck KKKers. He never said it.
No.
It's been completely debunked. But on that alone, it seems to me that his entire reputation as a racist has been founded. And it's the same thing with the John Birch Society. I mean, you go back and look at the evidence they're forever pointing to, and as you said, if you give somebody 10 minutes to explain to you what's going on, the whole smear crumbles before you.
Yes, and so that's what we want to see moving forward. In our PR efforts. We want to find, and not just be on the defense, but we're going to definitely be aggressive on the offense. We started actually something along this lines when I first started, actually, and so 2007, 2008, we had a large push to have a lot of publicity, and we started to see a lot of movement within the movement, if I may say that. And there were a lot of people that were coalescing, in the liberty/conservative movement, that we got a chance to talk to work with, a lot of different projects, and so we had a surge, of activity back then and membership recruitment, and that is what we're seeing, today. And we want to see it move further, even more so, with this aggressive plan to attack, negative publicity, but also to establish, even better working relationship with friendly media, so to speak.
Well, there have been a lot of freedom movements over the last 50 years that have come and gone. 10 years ago, the Tea Party was everything. And now that's collapsed, and many of those Tea Party activists have come over to the society, sure. and because we have the mindset, the structure, the focus that a lot of perhaps more well funded, or initially more overtly passionate organizations, but they burn out quickly, don't they? And but then once the media comes after them, they don't have the backbone to survive and thrive. It's a hallmark of the John Birch Society that whatever they've thrown at us, we've come back stronger. And it's that strength that really, really does scare them. Give me your final thoughts on this.
Yeah, and basically, they go after who's effective. We know that these movements come and go. We go out and we try to recruit the leaders. We try to help them overcome and avoid mistakes that organizations have in the past. And so for those that are interested in less government, more responsibility, and with God's help, a better world, we ask that they join the John Birch Society, jbs.org.
It's always the best answer, isn't it? Bill Hahn, you are the new CEO of the John Birch Society. Those are big shoes to fill, and this country needs the society more than ever before. Whatever happens in November, we're going to have to redouble our efforts, regardless of what happens in the ballot boxes. So thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Back again with my special guest today, Bill Hahn, the new CEO of the John Birch Society. And Bill, you're taking over from Art Thompson, who I think a lot of people have heard from a lot of years. He's been with the society at least since the mid to late 1960s. So right. He's almost from the very beginning. So it's a big gap to fill. And talk about quickly the transition between Art and you, and what are you going to carry forward of Art's legacy?
Yeah, most certainly. Actually, Mr. Thompson is fantastic, for the society, and we are so grateful for the foundation that he's helped to solidify, over the years. His great work even continues today with the writings that he's able to do. He's cranking out book after book after book. I have probably 3 drafts of books that are still sitting in my inbox that he's waiting on me to take a look at. But yeah, it just, over the years, the JBS has been blessed with such great leaders, and but knowing that it doesn't necessarily need to fall on one person. Granted, this is a monolithic organization and will continue to be so, but we pull together people that have a lot of stake, in the movement. They have great talents and skills, to bring to the table, including yourself, especially yourself. These are the folks that we bring to the table, regarding our leadership team, and so we've tasked those folks again, as we mentioned previously, that we're gonna move forward as quickly as we can, on plans to help bolster the mission of the society.
So for those who may be watching who aren't like Art Thompson, members since the 1960s, people who like us might be newer to this, just articulate somewhat of the major tent poles of the John Birch Society, going all the way back to Robert Welch in the late 1950s when the society was founded. What would you say are 2 or the 3 planks on which this society will always stand?
Well, and it's huge now too, because you can look around America right now and see why these basic campaigns are so important. And number one, you see the protesters and the rioters in the streets. Well, that just shows you that we need to have and support our local police and to keep them independent from federal control. And that is something that Mr. Welch came up with, I believe, it was about 1963. And at that point, people were like, well, yeah, of course we need to support our local police, But he recognized.
You can see now that
of what what was going on. And of course, nowadays, people are so, I think, awoke to that, we definitely need to, continue that campaign, and we'll, of course, do so. The other one, obviously, is to get us out of the United Nations. The house of cards that is so propped up with the international regime out there is very interesting. We were just discussing a little bit before during the break that with President Trump, if he's able to be reelected, he has had a campaign of downgrading us from or I should say withdrawing us to a certain degree from United Nations control, which has been just a breath of fresh air. When have we ever seen an American president stand up to the United Nations and basically tell them that Americanism, not globalism, will be our credo, right? So we will take as much advantage of that as we can. over the next 3-4 years and really crank that through to see what we can do to accomplish about getting us out of the United Nations.
Yeah, the society now, for all of our lifetimes, has been really the main pivot point in America for fighting back against globalism. And I think with Agendas 21 and 30 and what's going on now, with thinking about how internationally there's a worry about foreign countries and messing with our elections, all the other the global World Health Organizations, and watching their scandalous behavior during COVID, basically exonerating the Chinese, praising the Chinese for the way they handled this, which led to this becoming a pandemic, and yet then turning on Donald Trump and just savaging him. I mean, the overt politics of these international organizations is really shocking. And so that's really a key hallmark for me of my really support for this society. But now we've got an election coming up, and it's going to be an important one. And as always, the John Birch Society is uniquely fitted to react either way. Should Donald Trump win again, and I think probably that we would all agree that's the better option, even though the society, we don't get behind particular candidates. Assuming Donald Trump wins again, that's an unprecedented opportunity to try to work legislatively to get some of our own agenda items through. And if he were to lose, and the serious, significant consequences of that for personal and individual freedoms, liberties, the Constitution's under grave danger, the society would be needed more than ever. Talk about those two possibilities.
Yeah, most certainly, actually, and I appreciate that, the fact that we do come at it from a special position. Neither do we endorse political candidates or campaigns, but obviously we understand and we tout the fact that political parties hold no monopoly on tyranny. Or I should say, there's neither Democrat nor Republican hold that monopoly on tyranny. And so understanding that that can come from either political party. So, for instance, if Mr. Trump is to be reelected, of course we're going to move ahead as quickly as we can with moving ahead with our mission. And of course, if Mr. Biden gets in, we will certainly be running ahead with our mission just as aggressively as possible as well. But knowing that if he does get in, that as we know that President Obama was the probably the best salesperson for the firearms industry, we know that a tyrannical government is the best salesperson for the John Birch Society. We have seen that with this government crackdown over COVID, and we know that it's not going to get any better once Joe Biden gets in regarding government crackdown, getting away from the constitutional limitations of the federal government. So we will be out there, really doing the best that we can, taking advantage of every opportunity to do so. And again, that has already started, and we will just continue to do
and
that.
That's a unique aspect of the society. We don't endorse candidates, which means we would not even come out and support directly Donald Trump, but we're smart enough to realize that the Constitution, which is what we care about, right? Mm-hmm. That's the other thing I would say about the society, is that the Constitution motivates and drives everything we do. We recognize the centrality of that document. We recognize the fact that it is that document and the wisdom of the founders that gave us the relative peace and incredible security and wealth that we have attained over these years. It's all based on liberty, and that Constitution is our best guarantee of it, and that's what's really under assault here, withering assault from the progressive left. Exactly. So while we won't endorse, it's obvious to anybody watching which of the two candidates is more concerned with the Constitution, but that's not to say that we don't and haven't in our magazine, in our publications, and on our talks criticized even presidents like Donald Trump, who himself doesn't have a perfect constitutional record, right?
No, exactly, yeah. And we that's one nice thing, about our position is that we use the Constitution, as that benchmark. And so if we see that, the government is not adhering to its constitutional limitations, we're going to call that out regardless of who's in office. And we've done that. We look at the United States-Mexico-Canada agreement, USMCA, pushed by, Mr. Trump. But for us, that was negotiated by globalists, especially of the Council on Foreign Relations. That is not something that is something we will continue to push.
Vehemently,
obviously, yeah. So when we take a look at the election coming up, we know that every election is a direct reflection of the voters' understanding of the Constitution. And so, even though we don't tell people, we don't have to tell people who to vote for, our members and supporters know exactly who in their local election to vote for. Again, it's a direct reflection of the electorate, and it's our job to help educate that electorate regarding the issues that not only face the local electorate, but also on a much larger scale from a national sovereignty perspective, independence and freedom. How is that being affected by by either what you know, what you don't know, what you're active in, what you're not active in? And so, we would say again, be active in the John Birch Society. We will put you in the driver's seat so that you understand the issues that need to be focused on.
Bill Hahn, the new CEO of the John Birch Society, I wish you all the success at the head of a very important organization, and tell everybody at home how they can join, where they can find more information.
Thank you. We appreciate it, and we ask everybody to go to jbs.org and join, and also recruit others to do the same.
Amen. Talk to you soon, and it's going to be an interesting fall.
Thanks.
Thanks, Bill.